Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It gives me great pleasure to take a call on this very important budget and to celebrate some of the very significant gains that we have negotiated for the benefit of whānau, hapu and iwi. But of course we also believe that what is good for Māori is also good for this nation. Last Friday's Gisborne Herald, the headlines praised the 2014 annual accounts as providing all the evidence for the Māori Party, and I quote, to position itself for another 3 years in Parliament as the Roadrunner in stealth mode, end of quote. And I think everyone here knows the Roadrunner is Warner Brothers character that kept dodging the coyote, no matter what the coyote threw in front of them as it was running away. So in many ways that's a good metaphor, because we have had to keep to the straight and not go left or right too much as we work towards getting some benefits for Māori. So last Thursday's budget was ample proof that that race, the Roadrunner race, was worth it. We've concentrated on building resilient whānau, and we're really proud that as a result of our involvement also on the various committees, including the Poverty Committee, that 90 million was invested in over 4 years to provide free doctor's visits and medicine for children aged under 13. That's huge for us. A healthy child, it's a healthy whānau. And if we can make it easy for healthcare to be accessible and affordable, then we're talking about real things that do make a difference on the ground. We've always been passionate about fighting for a living wage, and while we didn't succeed in it, we nevertheless got some key determinants for well-being. Big things, boosting the parental pay leave scheme by 4 weeks, and most important of all, focusing on the eligibility. The eligibility was a big thing for Māori and Pacifica women, because they're often overrepresented in the jobs or employment arrangements that tend to render them ineligible for paid parental leave. So we're really pleased that this loophole is being looked at. We're also proud of the boost to increase the parental tax credit to $220 a week, and to increase the entitlement to 10 weeks. So that, again, another strong incentive to support low-income parents in the most important role of their life, being fabulous parents. And of course, 33 million allocated to help vulnerable children, and particularly in the increased incidence of rheumatic fever, and to fight that. But I want to talk about one that I'm really happy, and that's an education program that was supported, Reading Together. 4 years ago, we hunted for a program that would help the literacy of young Māori and Pacific Islanders who were behind in their reading in the early years of the first years of primary school. And we discovered the Reading Together program that was here and there in some schools, and found it to be really good in terms of involving the parents to teach their children, come to school, teach their children, learn how to teach their children to read, in some cases learn to read, and work with other parents and so on. It just blossomed, and so we had it set up in all Decile 1, 2 and 3 schools for 3 years. Well, with this budget, we've now extended that program into Decile 4 and 5 schools. So that's a big one for us, because if you can get that reading age up, then the children can go right through the system parallel with other children and not always lag behind. The other one, another thing that was pointed out was by the two-year group advisor, Toko Kapea, that's his name. He graded the budget 8 out of 10 for Māori. And it really was some things in there for Māori. And we're really pleased, including the support for the Māori radio stations. This is really important for Māori and for us. The iwi Māori radio stations carry te reo Māori, me ona tikanga, and what's happening amongst the community, so Māori can be in touch with each other. So it's very much part of the families in Māori houses and so on. So 13.7 million was funded by Te Māngai Pāho to raise the running costs of 21 Māori stations, and also give the possibility of looking to establish new radio stations as well. And so we're really pleased about that. On the other side is I have had the good fortune to lead 5 trips to Asia on Māori trade and economics, and we've watched as our people have grown in terms of negotiating, producing the product, producing the quantity to go through, and so on. And so I'm really pleased that 8 million has been provided for a Māori Innovation and Investment Readiness Fund to go alongside the 6 million for Māori tourism. And the Māori Tourism Unit has been really supportive of Māori going overseas and mixing and meeting with ministers in different Asian countries and establishing relationships and then ultimately trade and so on. I think a really key win for us was to resurrect the pūtea, or the money, for a centre of research excellence. When we heard ngā pai o te maramatanga, the Māori Research Unit had not been funded again, and finally was going to disappear. Now this ngā pai o te maramatanga was so important as a research centre. It was a great thing to have. So way back in my days, there was only 5 of us who had a PhD. Now there's 500 Māori with PhDs, and a lot of them had the research from this pai o te maramatanga. So after support from the community, 100 letters came from overseas to the government urging them to reconsider the funding. So we joined in with that tono and ended up with a fund, 5 million a year, to establish a new research centre. And that's kind of good, having a new one. And it's partly because Māori were looking at it as a way of perhaps adapting it better to suit what they had. And we've worked this through with ngā pai o te maramatanga, and they are keen too that there should be a brand new one. That's well, then they're not competing against each other, you see. So the second, another area of development was moving the nation. This is a sports possibilities of getting some pūtea so that Māori can actually, we can sponsor Māori sports people and Māori sports such as like kiorahi, wakaama, and the other sports that they're very active in, like netball and sevens and things like that. So all that's good. So it's been a really good budget for us. Whānau Ora again succeeds with 16 million to help getting kaiarahi appointed so that they can take the program out amongst the community. So just to wind up, I was impressed by the analysis from KPMG partner Adrian Winners, who said that regardless of the election outcome, the Māori Party's whānau ora approach is now an accepted part of how the government interfaces with iwi. And that's one of the reasons we're here, is to bring other options to whoever is government based on Māori tikanga and culture and values, so that it can be part of the delivery of services from this government or any government and so on. So I quote from Adrian Winners, and he says, "What I see in this budget is a sea of change in the government's thinking and a move towards a more devoted set of arrangements as iwi's capability to contract, to deliver and manage social outcome provision increases." So to me, that's what it's all about. So thank you for the chance to just have a short brief on this. Thank you.
Chris Farfoy.
Mr. Speaker, it's always a pleasure to follow